Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of the Black and White United Show. I'm your host Andreas. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. In today's episode, we're going to preview our match against Richmond on Sunday. Roll the intro.
0, 1. Let's get started.
Today's episode is brought to you by Hopper Bros Barbecue. For all your tips and tricks and everything barbecue, make sure you give them a follow on Instagram. So the three players for Richmond that I think that we need to keep a close eye on in this game is Nankervis, Taranto and Hopper. They both played, all three of them, played a great game against West Coast. Hopper getting 33 disposals, Taranto got 30, Nankervis got 17 disposals also. Hopper kicking 2 goals, Taranto kicking 3, and Nankervis also kicking 1. So not only are they getting the disposals, they're also affecting the scoreboard as well. I do think that we should have them covered with our midfield power and obviously Darcy Cameron in the ruck. However, Nankervis and Cameron, it's going to be a really good battle. Cameron should have his measure around the ground, but as a tap ruckman and as a battle, I do think that Nankervis is going to give him quite a run for his money. With that being said, we should be able to get the midfield battle won. Where this game is going to be won in particular for us is obviously our drive from our defense. Usually a lot of the games, it's our drive from the midfield and our delivery into the forward line. I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue against Richmond. That's obviously with all due respect, but our back line, with the inclusion of Billy Frampton this week, provided that he does play, obviously the teams haven't been released yet, but with the inclusion of him, hypothetically, our back line seems a lot more tighter. So, and everyone's got a bit more of a defined role, so to speak, where Frampton can play on that lockdown forward. I don't know who it's going to be. It could be Sims, I'm not sure. But regardless, if we can get our drive from our halfback through the midfield into the forward line properly, but just controlling that defensive 50, I think that's where the game's going to be won for us, because we can limit their scoreboard pressure. I don't think that we're going to have too much trouble in our forward line. You'd think that Tim Membry will probably come back this week as well. So we'll have the triple M's. We've got Bo McCreary back in. I think this is a game where Lockie Schultz, I'm really looking at him in particular for this game with the forward line pressure that he puts on. And also when he goes through the midfield, as in like runs through the midfield, applies the pressure in that sort of defensive 50 when we're pushing up and then we run forward. He's all over the place. He's all over the, in a good way, he's all over the defenders there. You can look at the game against Gold Coast where, even though that goal for Jamie Elliott didn't get paid and it was eventually paid as a touch, he obviously did that lunging spoil to get the ball over. It's acts like that. The game against Fremantle earlier in the season where he got knocked out, before he got knocked out, you saw the pressure he was putting on in the defensive 50 and then backing it up in the forward 50 and just creating so much opportunities for others to do their role as well. I really think this game here against, the majority of the Richmond team being quite young and quite inexperienced, he can control so much of the game and put so much pressure on them. So Lockie Schultz is the one that I'm really looking forward to seeing in this game against Richmond. Over the past 2 years that we've played Richmond, if you look at the 2023 game, and then I think we only won by a few goals, and then you look at the game last year, obviously, it was a bit of a boring, scrappy sort of game, and we ended up getting the victory, which was good, but not by a lot. I think this one's going to be fairly different. We're a much better and a well-balanced team, excuse me, compared to what we were last season. Excuse me. But I do think that if we're able to get a lot of the momentum, the thing that I really want to watch in this game that we haven't done in the past couple of years against Richmond is we haven't let them back in, so to speak, but they've always just been there. We haven't been able to really push away and obviously get as much scoreboard pressure as we want. As I said before, the defensive part of the game is one that I'm really watching this week. We have an opportunity not to play ourselves in any sort of form, so to speak, but just to get a little bit of continuity about it. If you look at the last 2 games that we've lost, I don't think we haven't been pumped, and that's the main thing that we've got to understand. We've got players missing. We haven't been pumped. We've been in the game. We've been in front for parts of the game and for the majority of the game, and we're just lacking these little tiny clinks in our chain, whether it be just the flow from defense to the forwards, or whether it be just around the ground, just getting numbers around the ball and creating that opportunity where you can get the ball out of the pack, hand pass it up, and then have a good delivery into the forward line. And that's the next part that I want to talk about. We have an opportunity in our forward line this week to have multiple goal kickers. I think Jamie Elliott can kick 4 or 5. Myercheck can do the same. McStay can just clonk them in the middle of the ground and drill them. And I think we're going to have a lot of good pressure here from Lockie Schultz, as I said before, and also Bo McCreary. So it really is a time where our forward line, not only can we hit the scoreboard, but if there's a congested play in our forward line, I'm really looking forward to how we're able to obviously create that sort of that wall and lock it in. I want to see forward line tackles. I want to see, us go to that next level and just reaffirm ourselves that, hey, listen, we are the best side in the competition at the moment. This is our game plan and this is our system, and we can make it work. So for this game, I'm tipping Collingwood by 35 points, roughly. I think we're going to have Dan McStay is going to kick 4, and I think Myercheck will kick 3. And I'm really looking forward to seeing if this is the game where potentially Josh Dacos gets some more midfield rotation, even though we're missing Dan Houston and Jeremy Howe, and seeing what impact he can have to allow others to run free. So the Pies by 35 points and Dan McStay to kick a bag. If you haven't already, please buy membership to the channel, support the channel. There is little as $2.99 at the moment. Make sure you subscribe. We did our live last night. It was fantastic. We had heaps of people on. I think there was about 8 or 9 memberships purchased. You will get extra content leading up now during the week, and members only content as well, which I'm really looking forward to doing. So make sure you buy membership to the channel. If you haven't already and you're watching the video, I think I've got like 44% of my viewers aren't subscribed. So please hit the subscribe button. That goes just a long way, as well as a membership. Make sure you drop a comment. Tell me what you think. Call it as you see it. And as always, go the Pies.